Mechanics pay. A mechanic's pay is $14 per hour for regular time, time and a half for overtime, more than 40 hours. This is like classic piecewise function problem. Write a piecewise function where W is the wage and H is the number of hours. So up to 40 hours, so I can do that first. So up to 40 hours, the mechanic makes 14 per hour, so 14 times T. And you can kind of check these as you go. Like, so 14 times 0 is 0. That makes sense. If he hasn't worked any hours, he doesn't make any money. If he works 40 hours, he makes 14 times 40. Okay, that's not bad. Now, it's more than 40 where things get a little interesting, because he's going to make, you know what, let's figure out what he's already made. Sort of like what was already in the gas can. So once we hit 40, how much money has he already made? And you don't have to give me the answer, you can just tell me how to find it. How much money has he made at the end of 40 hours? 14 times 40. So he's starting with 14 times 40, and then he's going to add on to that. Now he's making 1.5 times 14 now. That's the beauty of overtime. Start getting paid a lot more money. So now he's making 21 bucks an hour. But not times T, right? Because he doesn't get 40 hours at that. He only gets the hours past 40 at that rate. So T minus 40. So it sort of looks like this. It's linear until 40. What's linear after 40 is just steeper linear. It starts making more. If you can ever get a summer job where you get into overtime, it's beautiful. Using your model, found in Part A, determine the weekly wage of a mechanic who works 45 hours in a week. Okay, using my model. So 45 would be on branch B. So he makes 14 times 40. That's the first 40 hours. He makes 14 times 40. After that, he's making 14 times 1.5 times 5. Because he doesn't get credit for 45 hours of overtime. He only gets credit for 5 hours of overtime. So 40 hours at the $14 pay, and then 5 hours at 1.5 times $14 pay. So what would that be? 14 times 40 is 560. 14 times 1.5 times 5 is 105. So 665. So he made 560 on his regular work week, and then he made 105 extra. And again, if you get a chance to work overtime, it's great. So he worked for 40 hours, he got 560 bucks. And then he only had to work 5 more hours to get another $100 because his rate went up so much. Find the average rate of change from 35 to 45. Well, we just found W of 45. That was 665. W of 35, that's just whatever 14 times 35 is. You don't get any overtime hours if you only work 35 hours. So average rate of change is change in Y, or change in wage over change in hours. $75 divided by 10 equals 17.5. Units of measure, Well, the top number was dollars and the bottom number was hours. So if we divided dollars by hours, it's $17.5 per hour. I don't like that because he was never making $17.5 per hour. But between 35 and 45, from 35 to 40 he was making 14, and from 40 to 45 he was making 21, and so in the middle is 17.5. But that's why it's the average rate of change. It was never actually that rate of change.